Hello friend. Come and let's embark on a journey full of knowledge and lessons. From the world of science to history, we will discuss various topics that will broaden our knowledge and satisfy our curiosity. So if you are ready to learn, let's just relax and enjoy. Come, let's start. Let's explore together and learn from our new discussion.
Poetry, description and imagery. How poets paint pictures with words. Have you ever felt a poem resonate deep within your soul, a single stanza unlocking a flood of emotions, or a profound understanding? That, my friend, is the magic of poetry. Today's lesson is dedicated to exploring that magic, delving into the beauty, power, and sometimes bewildering complexity of poetic expression. This is your invitation to a vibrant, exciting world of poetry, a place where words dance, emotions soar, and meaning unfolds in unexpected way. Whether you are a seasoned poet, a curious beginner, or simply someone who appreciates the power of language, you are in for a wild ride. What is poetry? Unraveling the essence of words. Poetry, a timeless art form, transcends mere words, to create a tapestry of emotions, imagery, and meaning. It is a unique way of expressing the human experience, using language in a way that resonates deeply with the reader. At its core, poetry is a form of literary art that uses language in a deliberate and artful way to evoke emotions, ideas, and stories. It goes beyond conveying information. It aims to create a visceral experience for the reader, stirring their imagination and prompting reflection. Key features of poetry. Several key features distinguish poetry from other forms of writing. Rhythm and meter. Poetry often employs a rhythmic pattern, created by the arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables. The rhythm adds a musical quality to the poem, and can enhance its emotional impact. Emotion. Poetry is inherently emotional, exploring a wide range of human feelings. Poets use language to evoke specific emotions in the reader, creating a connection that transcends the literal meaning of the words. Structure. Poems often follow specific structures, such as sonnets, haikus, or free verse. These structures can influence the poem's meaning and impact, adding to its overall effect. Meaning. Poetry is not always straightforward. It often uses symbolism, metaphor, and other figurative language to convey deeper meanings, inviting the reader to interpret and contemplate the poem's message. The role of language in poetry. Language is the very essence of poetry. Poets choose words carefully, considering their sound, rhythm, and connotations. They use figurative language, such as metaphors, similes, and personifications, to create vivid imagery and evoke emotions. The way language is arranged in poetry can also create a sense of rhythm and flow. Poets use line breaks, stanzas, and rhyme schemes to structure their poems, adding to their aesthetic appeal and enhancing their impact. Poetry is not just about the words themselves, it is about the experience they create. It invites the reader to engage with the poem on a personal level, drawing on their own emotions, experiences, and perspectives. Ultimately, poetry is a powerful and evocative art form that transcends language barriers. It is a testament to the human capacity for creativity and expression, allowing us to explore the depths of our emotions, connect with others, and find meaning in the world around us. The power of words. Exploring descriptive language in poetry. Poetry, at its core, is the art of painting vivid pictures with words. While rhythm and rhyme contribute to the musicality of a poem, it is the descriptive language that truly breathes life into the imagery, allowing readers to connect with the poem on a visceral level. This ability to evoke strong sensory experiences is what separates a good poem from a truly great one. Descriptive language, often referred to as imagery, goes beyond simply stating facts. It uses words to create a sensory experience, engaging the reader's five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, to paint picture with words. Instead of saying the day was beautiful, a poet might write, sunlight dripped gold on the cobblestones, the air hummed, with the buzz of bees, and the scent of honeysuckle hung heavy in the breeze. The richer description creates a far more immersive and memorable experience. Why do poets use descriptive language? Poets employ descriptive language for several key reasons. To create vivid imagery. The primary purpose is to paint a picture in the reader's mind, making the poem more engaging and memorable. Strong imagery allows the reader to actively participate in the poem's creation, rather than passively receiving information. To evoke emotion, descriptive language is powerfully linked to emotion. The choice of words and the sensory details used can create a specific mood or atmosphere, influencing the reader's emotional response. A poem about loss might use dark and somber imagery, while one about joy might use bright and vibrant descriptions. To enhance meaning, imagery can add layers of meaning to a poem, going beyond the literal, to suggest deeper ideas or themes. A metaphor, for example, can create a powerful connection between seemingly unrelated concepts, enriching the poem's overall significance. To engage the reader, well-crafted descriptive language keeps the reader involved and invested in the poem. It creates a sense of immediacy and presence, drawing the reader into the poet's world. Common descriptive techniques in poetry. Poets utilize various techniques to enhance their descriptive power. Similes, comparisons using like or as. These provide a familiar point of reference, making abstract concepts more concrete and relatable. Examples: my heart is like a singing bird. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose. Her voice was like the sound of rain. The warrior's heart beat like a drum. He was as brave as a lion. Metaphors. Direct comparisons that equate one thing to another. Metaphors create a more profound sense of identification and can reveal connections. Examples: hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. He is a shining star. Personification, giving human qualities to inanimate objects or abstract ideas. This adds depth and emotional resonance, making the natural world more engaging. Examples: the wind stood up and gave a shout. The mountains watched silently. The city groaned under the weight of its secrets. The trees danced in the breeze. The sun smiled down on the earth. Sensory details. Specific details that appeal to the senses. Instead of a noisy street, a poet might write the cacophony of car horns, chattering voices, and the rhythmic thump of distant bass. Examples: the air hung heavy with the scent of brine and wood smoke. The rough bark of the oak tree scraped against my skin. The taste of salt lingered on my tongue. The crimson sunset bled across the horizon. The metallic tang of blood filled the air. Alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. This creates a musicality and emphasizes certain words. Examples: Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Busy as a bee, she sells seashells by the seashore. Silent, sorrowful, sad. Sweet, succulent strawberries. Onomatopoeia. Words that imitate sounds. These bring sounds to life within the poem. Examples: the bees buzzed lazily around the hive. The snake hissed menacingly. The gunshot echoed through the valley. The wind whispered secrets. The car screeched to a halt. Many poems effectively combine several descriptive techniques. The fog comes on little cat feet. An excerpt from Fog, by Carl Sandburg. This combines personification, fog as a cat, and sensory detail, such as soft, quiet movement. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep. An excerpt from Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. This uses sensory details such as lovely, dark, deep, and creates a mood through word choice. This example showcases Frost's characteristic use of concise, evocative imagery. Descriptive language is essential to the art of poetry. By mastering these techniques, poets can create poems that are not only beautiful, but also deeply moving and memorable. The next time you read a poem, pay close attention to the descriptive language. Notice how the poet uses words to create sensory experiences and evoke emotions. You will discover a whole new level of appreciation for the power of poetry. Painting with words. Understanding imagery in poetry. Imagery in poetry is the use of vivid and descriptive language to create sensory experiences for the reader. It is the art of painting pictures with words, engaging the reader's imagination and emotions through detailed descriptions that appeal to the five senses. Instead of simply stating a fact, imagery helps the reader feel the poem, making it more memorable and impactful. Imagery is not just about visual descriptions, it encompasses all five senses. A powerful poem uses imagery to create a multi-sensory experience, drawing the reader into the poem's world, and allowing them to fully participate in the experience. This immersive quality is what separates a good poem from a truly great one. Imagery can be used to describe concrete objects, abstract ideas, or emotions, making the poem richer and more meaningful. 5 types of sensory imagery. While all imagery contributes to a holistic sensory experience, we can categorize it based on the sense it primarily appeals to. Visual imagery. This is the most common type of imagery, focusing on sight. It uses descriptive language to create a picture in the reader's mind. It describes what things look like, including colors, shapes, sizes, patterns, light, and shadow. Examples. The crimson sunset bled across the horizon, painting the clouds with fiery hues. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange, pink, and purple. Auditory imagery. This type of imagery appeals to the sense of hearing. It describes sounds, their volume, pitch, and tone. This type of imagery uses words that describe sounds. It helps the reader hear what is happening in the poem. Examples. The rhythmic crashing of waves against the shore, punctuated by the cry of a distant seagull. The rain hammered against the window pane, a relentless rhythm that drowned out all other sounds. Olfactory imagery. This imagery engages the sense of smell. It describes scents, both pleasant and unpleasant, evoking memories and emotions associated with those smells. It helps the reader experience the scent of the environment or objects in the poem. Examples. The pungent aroma of wood smoke mingled with the sweet fragrance of pine needles. The air was thick with the sweet scent of honeysuckle, a heady fragrance that filled the summer night. Gustatory imagery. This type of imagery appeals to the sense of taste. It describes flavors, textures, and temperatures of food and drink. It helps the reader experience the flavors of the food or drink described in the poem. Examples. The tartness of the lemon, cut through the richness of the chocolate, a delightful contrast on the tongue. The grape burst in my mouth, the sweet juices running across my hands. Tactile imagery. This type of imagery focuses on the sense of touch. It describes textures, temperatures, and physical sensations. It helps reader feel what is being described in the poem. Examples. The rough bark of the ancient oak tree scraped against my skin, a comforting, familiar sensation. The rough bark of the old oak tree scratched against my hand as I climbed, its gnarled branches providing a precarious grip. Imagery often works in conjunction with figurative language to create even more powerful effects. Metaphors, similes, personification, and other literary devices can enhance the sensory experience, adding depth and complexity to the poem. Example for metaphor. The city was a concrete jungle, teeming with life and noise. This metaphor uses visual imagery, the concrete jungle, to convey a sense of the city's overwhelming nature. Simile. Her laughter was like the sound of wind chimes, light and tinkling. This simile uses auditory imagery to describe the quality of her laughter. Imagery is crucial for creating memorable and engaging poetry. It allows poets to communicate complex ideas and emotions in a concise and impactful way. By engaging multiple senses, imagery creates a deeper connection between the poem and the reader, fostering a more profound and lasting appreciation of the art form. When reading poetry, pay attention to the imagery used. It is often the key to unlocking the poem's true meaning and emotional power. Why imagery matters. Unlocking meaning and emotion. Poetry's power lies in its ability to evoke emotion and create a profound connection between the poet and the reader. The strategic use of imagery truly elevates a poem, transforming it from a simple collection of words into a vibrant and unforgettable experience. Imagery is not just about describing a sunset or a bustling city street. It is about using language that appeals to our senses, making us feel the warmth of the sun on our skin, hear the rumble of the city, and smell the salt air. It is about creating a sensory experience that transcends the page and draws the reader into the poem's world. Why imagery matters. Here is why imagery is so crucial to the art of poetry. Deepens connection. Imagery allows readers to connect with a poem on a visceral level. It is not just about understanding the words, it is about experiencing the emotions, the atmosphere, and the sensory details that the poet is conveying. This connection makes the poem more powerful and memorable. Brings abstract ideas to life. Poetry often deals with complex and abstract concepts like love, loss, hope, and despair. Imagery helps to make these abstract ideas concrete and relatable. By using vivid descriptions and sensory details, poets can create a tangible representation of these emotions, making them easier for readers to understand and connect with. Strengthens emotion and meaning. Imagery is not just about creating a pretty picture, it is about adding depth and meaning to the poem. By evoking specific senses and emotions, imagery can amplify the impact of the poem's message. It can create a sense of wonder, awe, sadness, or fear, depending on the poet's intention. Imagery is not just a stylistic choice in poetry, it is an essential element that shapes the reader's experience. It fosters a deeper connection with the poem, brings abstract ideas to life, and strengthens both the emotional impact and the overall meaning. By mastering the art of imagery, poets can create poems that resonate deeply with readers, leaving a lasting impression long after the last word is read. Unveiling the layers. How context shapes a poem's meaning. Poetry is a rich tapestry woven with words, but its true beauty lies in the layers of meaning that unfold when we consider the context in which it was created. Understanding a poem's structural, biographical, historical, and sociocultural contexts allows us to delve beyond the surface and appreciate its deeper significance. Structural context, the poem's architect. The way a poem is structured, its stanza breaks, line length, rhyme scheme, and overall form, is not arbitrary. It is a deliberate choice by the poet, influencing the poem's rhythm, flow, and impact on the reader. Stanza breaks. Short, choppy stanzas might convey a sense of fragmentation or urgency, while longer stanzas can suggest a more flowing, reflective tone. Line length. Short lines create a sense of breathlessness or intensity, while long lines evoke a sense of expansiveness or contemplation. Enjambment. Running lines onto the next without punctuation can build suspense, while end-stopped lines can create pauses and emphasize particular words. Form. A sonnet's strict structure suggests formality, while free verse's openness suggests spontaneity. By analyzing these structural elements, we gain insight into the poet's intentions and the poem's overall effect. Identifying the structural context of a poem requires a blend of close reading, research, and critical thinking. Here are some tips to guide your analysis. Close reading. Pay attention to the poem's physical layout. Note the length and arrangement of stanzas, the length of lines, the use of enjambment, or lines running onto the next, punctuation, and white space. How do these elements contribute to the poem's rhythm, pace, and overall effect? Formal analysis. Identify the poem's form, may it be sonnet, free verse, haiku, etc. Understanding the conventions of the form will help you appreciate the poet's choices and their impact. Look for variations from the expected form. These deviations can be highly significant. Sound devices. Analyze the use of rhyme, meter, alliteration, assonance, and consonants. How do these sound devices contribute to the poem's structure and musicality? Biographical context. The poet's journey. A poet's personal experiences, beliefs, and values often shape their work. Understanding the poet's life can shed light on the themes, symbols, and emotions expressed in the poem. Personal experiences. A poem about love might reflect the poet's own romantic experiences, while a poem about loss might draw on their personal grief. Beliefs and values. A poet's political or religious beliefs might be reflected in the poem's themes or message. Historical context. A poet's life might be shaped by significant historical events, influencing their perspective and the themes they explore. By considering the poet's biography, we can gain a deeper understanding of the poem's personal significance and its connection to the poet's own world. Identifying the biographical context of a poem requires a blend of close reading, research, and critical thinking. Here are some tips to guide your analysis. Research the poet. Learn about the poet's life, experiences, beliefs, and values. Look for connections between the poet's life and the themes, imagery, and emotions expressed in the poem. Biographies, critical essays, and interviews can be valuable resources. Identify personal references. Look for allusions to specific events, people, or places in the poet's life. These references can provide clues to the poem's meaning and emotional resonance. Consider the time of writing. Knowing when the poem was written can illuminate the poet's mindset and the context of their experiences. Historical context, the time and place. Every poem is born from a specific historical moment, shaped by the social, political, and cultural conditions of its time. Understanding the historical context allows us to appreciate the poem's relevance to its era and its enduring significance. Social norms. A poem written during a time of social upheaval might reflect the anxieties and aspirations of its era. Political events. A poem written during a war might explore themes of conflict, loss, or resistance. Cultural movements. A poem written during a period of artistic innovation might reflect the influence of new ideas and styles. By examining the historical context, we can understand the poem's place within the broader sweep of history and its connection to the social and political forces of its time. Identifying the historical context of a poem requires a blend of close reading, research, and critical thinking. Here are some tips to guide your analysis. Research the period. Investigate the social, political, and cultural climate of the time the poem was written. Consider major historical events, social movements, and prevailing ideologies. Identify historical references. Look for allusions to historical events, figures, or ideas within the poem. How do these references shape the poem's meaning and significance? Social and political commentary. Analyze the poem for any commentary on the social or political issues of its time. What perspectives are presented, and how are they reflected in the poem's structure and language? Sociocultural context, the shared experience. Poetry often reflects the shared values, beliefs, and experiences of a particular culture or society. Understanding the sociocultural context helps us appreciate the poem's cultural significance and its connection to the human experience. Cultural values. A poem might explore themes that are central to a particular culture, such as family, tradition, or spirituality. Social issues. A poem might address issues of social justice, inequality, or prejudice. Cultural identity. A poem might explore themes of belonging, alienation, or the search for identity within a particular culture. By considering the sociocultural context, we can understand the poem's broader relevance to human society, and its ability to resonate with readers across different cultures and time periods. Identifying the sociocultural context of a poem requires a blend of close reading, research, and critical thinking. Here are some tips to guide your analysis. Cultural values and beliefs. Consider the dominant cultural values and beliefs of the society in which the poem was written. How do these values inform the poem's themes and imagery? Social issues and inequalities. Look for evidence of social issues and inequalities reflected in the poem. How does the poem engage with these issues, and what perspectives are presented? Cultural identity and representation. Consider how the poem represents different cultural groups, identities, or perspectives. Does the poem challenge or reinforce existing social norms? Here are some general tips in identifying these contexts in poetry. Annotate the poem. As you read, make notes on the poem's structure, imagery, language, and references. This will help you track your observations and build a comprehensive understanding of the poem's contexts. Consult secondary sources. Seek out critical essays, literary analysis, and biographical information to deepen your understanding of the poem and its contexts. Consider multiple interpretations. Remember that poetry is often open to multiple interpretations. Be open to different perspectives and engage with the poem's complexities. Formulate a thesis. As you analyze the poem, develop a thesis statement that summarizes your understanding of its meaning and its relationship to its various contexts. By employing these strategies, you can effectively identify and analyze the rich tapestry of contexts that contribute to a poem's meaning and significance. Remember that these contexts are interconnected, and a holistic understanding emerges from considering them together. By exploring the structural, biographical, historical, and sociocultural contexts of a poem, we can unlock its hidden meanings and appreciate its full depth and richness. It is a journey of discovery that allows us to connect with the poet's voice, understand the poem's historical and cultural significance, and ultimately, gain a deeper appreciation for the power and beauty of poetry. We have explored the magic of imagery, descriptions, and the different contexts in poetry, and it's clear that they are not mere embellishments, but the very heart of the poetic experience. They allow poets to paint vivid pictures, evoke powerful emotions, and transport readers to worlds, both familiar and fantastical. Good poetry makes you see, feel, and hear the world differently. This is the true power of imagery and description. They challenge our assumptions, expand our horizons, and remind us of the beauty and wonder that surrounds us. So, the next time you encounter a poem, pay close attention to the language. Let the words paint pictures in your mind, awaken your senses, and open your heart to new ways of seeing the world.
Until next time. Thank you for watching.